And that way Mr. Stanula won't have to stick around for the presentation, because we'll get him in and out.
Okay, call the Facilities Committee meeting to order. And note the absence of Julie Pappas with COVID. I see no one seeking the floor. So, take it away.
So, I sent you guys an email. If you flip over that piece of
Yeah.
paper, I just didn't want to make you. So this is the rubber roof section that's above the science wing and the den area. So right now, we have a $50,000 matching grant that's out there. The only thing that we can use that grant, and I've tried and I've asked, and the state office says no. The only thing we can use that grant for is what I submitted for, which was rubber roofs at the high school. Can't change it to elementary, can't change it to doors or anything like that. So I talked to Mike, and looking at the general costs of everything that's going on, the den had some things that were fixed, obviously by the storm. And so looking at what still needs to be done, obviously the rubber roofs do have to be fixed, but at $18 per square foot, the whole den was around 300 to 350 we're projecting, and the science wing, they're projecting about 250. Substantial amount of money. The science wing, we believe, is going to be good at least for another year. The den, I believe, we thought that with the repairs that were done, it's going to be good for at least another year as well. The two sections I would recommend, which are still rubberized roofs, one is basically the overhang that's on the athletic entrance. So that one we're projecting, again, they have not given us formal numbers, but projecting at $18 a square foot is about $13,000. And the other section is that other little highlighted, I think it's highlighted for gray. That area right there is about another $23,000 to $24,000. Now this is the connection point between the rubber roofs and the old section. So this is basically where we're starting to see some of the problems. Because that's right below there is where the pipe burst. Now, it's not because of the roof, but it's one of those that it makes sense. So what I'm proposing to us is we can't afford a $250,000 section of roof. We can't. Today we cannot. Next year may be different when we reallocate some money. We definitely can't afford $350,000. But I don't want to lose the $50,000 matching grant, up to $50,000. So what I would like to do is have a roofer come out and bid that overhang
Right.
and that connection piece and we're hoping that's going to be around $50,000. It costs us $25,000 with a matching $25,000 grant. They match. It's not like they'll give us 50 and then we're after that. So we're still doing something with rubber roofs. We're doing a section that definitely needs to be done, but we're not really going over the edge. I did talk to Mike about this, made sure he was here for it. He believes that's probably the best plan of action for us as well. Again, I don't like kicking things down the road. I generally don't, but I can't spend money I don't have.
It's going to be done from the outside.
And $250,000 to $350,000. That is a project that you do when you don't have anything else on the books. This year we had the HVAC. We have something else I'm going to bring up to you guys in the other section if our group isn't here yet. We just don't have it.
They match up to 50, and we're only going to use a match of 25 with this plan?
Right, yeah, because they can't like do half of the den, they would have to do all of it. So yeah, so.
Is there any other place we could use the other 25?
Not that's rubberized. Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, so the only place that's rubberized is the science wing. We're also thinking it might even be a little bit more than the 25 as we're proposing. I mean, that's at projected $18 a square foot. They might come in and say, because we now have the units on top of there, it's an additional $2 a square foot because now we have to lift things up. Right. So this is, I mean, we're trying to be very tentative with the numbers I'm giving you, but this could be anywhere between $50,000 to $75,000. I guess hypothetically we're losing part of that grant, but it's not like it's money that we have in our pocket.
Right.
It's just a matching grant.
But they just match up to the 50,000.
Correct. So the bathroom last year we did was 133,000. They gave us 50. We paid, the 83,000 on it.
Okay.
So that's what And again, I tried, I called and said, hey, can we do an elementary, can we do doors, can we do? And they said, no, once you submit it to the state,
That's it.
there's no amendment to this one. So, so that's kind of what I want to make sure you guys were aware of. On Monday night, we'll have more of a conversation, and on Monday, I'll kind of look for you guys, if you're willing to say, you know, to get that bid done. If it's less than 50, we don't have to go out for bid. If it's more, we have to. So, any questions regarding that?
No, it's a shame we're gonna lose that much, but yeah.
Right. But look at this, Larry, we never had it.
We never had it, right, yeah, you're right.
Kind of like my kid with his allowance. He never
Yeah.
got his allowance, it's not his yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So, any other questions about the roof? And are you all right with that kind of plan of action?
Yeah.
Spending, but still
Now,
saving? Go ahead.
Is, now, is this just patched, or now, if we do the rest of the roof, will this go into it seamlessly?
Yeah, these are literally sections of a roof,
that
so
we
it's
can
kind of
do.
like Juan
Oh,
asked, can
okay.
you do part, no. This
Yeah.
is, the den is one section that they would do one time. This will have its own piece to it, yeah.
Okay, so it just, it'll
Puzzle piece.
Yeah.
fit into the pieces.
Correct,
Okay.
it'll clean up that 25-year rubber roof problem that we have between the old building and the new building.
Yes, okay.
Are you fine with both, or you only do one or the other, or are you good with both?
With
As
the-
in the 23 and the
Yeah,
13?
well, yeah,
Okay,
I would do both, yeah.
all right. I'll let Mike know to kind of reach out, make sure that our numbers are where they're
close.
supposed to be. Because you never know, they can always say, hey, guys, it's actually $30 a square foot.
Right.
Economy stuff. All right, if you're fine with it, Mr. Chairman in disguise? All right. Oh, no, Juan's the chairman, I thought, no,
No, I
Julie's
am.
chairman. There's too many
Well,
comments here.
Julia's, but.
So if you're all right, I'll introduce Bill and his associate.
Chad.
Chad and Bill. All right, they are from Synergy. I have a little clicker here for you, so you can actually do your presentation.
Oh, great.
So take it away. The floor is yours, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you. Apologies for being a few minutes late. Appreciate you hearing us out, and we're really happy to have the chance to present our proposal. We think it's very much value added to the village, the school district, and we want to go through just a few slides to kind of show what we're proposing.
Did that
You know,
work?
it's a PDF, so maybe, is there?
Oh, it 100% worked, I promise. We tested it right before.
Oh, it does work?
Yeah. If you, no, hit the arrows, side to side arrows.
Oh, okay, sorry about
That's,
that.
that's all good.
All right. So, we've been around for 15 years, and our mission is to put up a lot of solar. There are a lot of companies that do that, but to really how to spread the economic benefits to the local communities where we do our projects. In Illinois itself, we've partnered with a number of municipalities. We built a couple projects at Rockford International Airport, Pontiac's Airport. We've done projects with them. We have projects in development now with the city of Chenoa, McChesney Park, Village of Limestone, among others. We're doing a lot of partnerships. Momentum is very good because frankly the state program is really meant to benefit local communities. And I think us, as far as we know, more than any other company, really wants to make it a win-win-win situation for all the parties involved. So from the landowner, sometimes it's a private landowner, sometimes we work with the municipalities as a landowner, to the village that we work with to maximize our chances of having a project move forward, which benefits us as a sustainable clean energy company, but also the village in which, or municipality in which we work in. I think they see more benefit than any other company that would present in front of them, and we'll show you a little bit why. The photo on the right is one of the largest solar installations at Indianapolis Airport. If you've ever flown into that airport, that was a project that we developed and built. 25 megawatts is roughly over about 80 acres of land, and they made very good use of just buffer space around the airport. And as long as we ensured that it was a safe project, there's no reflection, safety concerns with the airports flying, with the airplanes flying in. It was a great use and a great project for Indianapolis. So again, company overview, we've been around for 15 years doing mostly larger projects. We don't do the smaller residential rooftop projects, but a lot of commercial to utility scale projects. We've done over 400 projects to date, roughly over 400 megawatts of power as well. And because of our track record, we've never had a default in any of our projects. Our bonding capacity has increased now to about plus $100 million in bonding capacity. And that was an example of a fairly sizable project at Indianapolis that was fully bonded. You were talking to two of the co-founders. You know, we used to be attorneys, we worked together, but we really had that entrepreneurial spirit 15 or so years ago. And we said, hey, we really got to do something that's a bit more, at least for us, meaningful than just being attorneys at law firms. So we started up the company. We wanted to go into renewables, and we just had to slowly put the pieces together. You know, we weren't engineers, so we got, Andy was our first key engineer, and very talented engineer, so now he heads up a group of engineering to construction management folks that's maybe about 25, 30 people. So us three are the primary leaders of the company, so decisions are made very fast, right? And we are very hands-on. And that means for us, we're on the road a lot, really making the pitch, making decisions that people need questions answered very quickly, and we know what we can do and what we can't do. Here are some of the states that we're active. Right now we're from California, Southern California, Carlsbad, San Diego County, California. But we have maybe 3 offices in California now, and we have active projects in about 9 states, but really active, maybe more like 6 states that we're really active in, including Illinois. This is a great market. They passed significant legislation to foster more of these community solar projects.
It's really the crown jewel of the Midwest for solar right now, as far as the programs that are available for local communities.
So basics of community solar, and you may be somewhat aware of it. There are a lot of developers in the state. There's a lot of subscription companies that may send mailers out asking people to subscribe to a project. So think of community solar, we like to think of it as kind of like a virtual ATM network, where if power from one project is injected into the grid in one location, as long as you're in the same utility region, so in this case ComEd, then subscribers to that project can extract that or withdraw the credit from that solar project anywhere within that network. And so it's very flexible, right? We can get subscribers anywhere. We try to keep it as a priority to local subscribers. But to the extent, let's say, Beecher doesn't have enough subscribers for all of the power of the project, then we would go beyond the village to get more subscribers. Just some basics about solar projects themselves. They've gotten fairly ubiquitous. 15 years ago, there was a lot of different directions that solar could go into, but right now it's become very standardized. The engineering is all approved by licensed engineers. The authorizations, the equipment, it's all CE listed, safety tested before it actually gets into the field. UL certified. So right now it's become fairly ubiquitous and safe, and the traceability of where things come from is pretty well known. In terms of, a lot of what we hear as far as local concerns is the visual impact and the aesthetic. So there are a lot of ways to address it. Sometimes we just put up a simple fence or farm-type fence. We could put slats on if they don't want to see it, kind of like what you sometimes see around a substation or a transformer. And if needed, sometimes we'll put basically vegetative screening around the site. So there are many ways to address it if there's some local concerns about the visual impact. The program itself within Illinois is known as the state's adjustable block program. ComEd has an allocation of roughly just under 120 megawatts. For this year, each year they're going to come out with a new phase of a program, so it's extremely popular. So I think ComEd's going to be about 3 times oversubscribed. So the amount of solar projects versus the amount of slots that can be selected into the program is 3 projects for every 1 slot. But it's not the end of the world, and we know ways to kind of navigate the program so that we can get kind of in the express or self-checkout line, right? You see a long line at Costco or Walmart, right? Sometimes you have an express line, and there are ways to do it if we have very good engagement with the local community municipality.
What time is it?
The key elements to get into the program is having your land use approval and interconnection file. The program has already opened for phase 1 last November, right?
Yeah, it was November 1st was when it opened up.
And it immediately got 3 times oversubscribed. But every year, there's another release, right? It's a multi-year program.
It's like a 10-year program this time around. The first time 4 years ago, it was limited, but now they've really opened it up so that if you qualify your project, you'll eventually get a slot. So.
Yeah. But as long as land use approval and your interconnection looks good, having enough capacity, and you've done your studies with ComEd, then you have the best chance to get in. And if the local community, the village, or even the school district, if they're a little bit more engaged in the project, you have a better chance to get in. They rely on a sort of a scoring system in terms of allocating spots for projects. Oh, and this was just the preliminary layout in terms of where the school district has its property. We understand it's about 34 acres there, and so this gives you a sense of quite a bit of the space. It's almost like a perfect size parcel for a project of this size, and then we would route it, if you notice, going north and cutting over, or perhaps we can go straight east because we know the 34 kV line, that's the one we want to tie to, runs directly north-south through the village. So this is the rough preliminary layout that we would fine-tune to move forward with roughly a 5 megawatt project. And then the key benefits is basically our last slide. So with the school district as the landowner, our recurring lease payments would be about $1,500 per acre per year. So for 34 acres, it's about $51,000 per year over the 34 acres over a 20-year period, and then we usually have 2 10-year extension options in case the program does extend or there's other ways to sell the power. And the purchase option, we're flexible in doing a purchase option as well, is kind of like a present value, so that's $650,000 is roughly about, we think a decent premium, maybe not, but I think it's a premium, it's roughly a little over $19,000 per acre is how that figure is calculated. And I think beyond that, the one thing to keep in mind is we usually have an option period of about 2 years. It could be as short as 1 year. just to make sure the project's gonna work. Because that's how long it's gonna take us, usually about a year, to get through the ComEd interconnection studies. And also, maybe less time, but maybe 6 months or so to get through all the entitlements, all the land use approvals. And then I think maybe up to a year to find out when exactly we could get selected into the program. So those are the three kind of approvals we need so that we get a green light for the project. So during that time, we'd make a small good faith payment for the option period to get through all the studies. But then if the project goes forward, then those are the payments that would be available to the school district. Environmental benefits are more obvious, just locally generated clean energy, and the carbon offset is about 160 homes per megawatt. So 5 times that, because it's a 5 megawatt system, would be well over roughly about 800 homes could be powered with that. Village benefits, the big benefit we see is village residents would save 20% or more. We try to target about 20% to 25% of bill credit savings from their ComEd bill. All they have to do is sign a very short subscription agreement, no money up front, and they would get the savings once the system is operational. Priority.
It's been really popular, even the first go-around, as far as the subscriptions. And the savings have actually been better than what most residents thought they would be. So we think we can even do better this time around because of some of the program highlights.
Yeah, priority we would give to low, moderate income residents. And then I believe the property is in a TIF district. That's a huge benefit because our understanding is the property tax that we would otherwise pay annually for the project is roughly $25,000 to $30,000. And that could be kept locally in an arrangement with the village. So we can keep that there, and then if the project's a go, depending on our final capital costs to put everything together, we estimate that a one-time donation to the village could be made in the range of $200,000 to $500,000. And we think it's very significant compared to what frankly, most folks in our shoes are doing in the market. But that's, for us, driving at our critical mission for our business. And all we ask, I just underscore the last line, is the more there's village engagement, again, that helps us get through the program and get selected a bit. It's looked upon more favorably than the more standard application. And that's all we had for our short presentation. We're open to any questions or thoughts you have.
I have one. Is it dependent on the village backing this?
No, but the more the village backs it, it helps us move it does help the
I mean,
project.
other than it's in the TIP district, so obviously they're.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does help because we would have a slightly better chance to get selected into the program. And that's why if we get through, we would sort of make sure it's worth the benefits time.
And it was designed on purpose that way this time around with the program. They really wanted developers like us to engage more with the local communities. And it actually, like Bill said, it helps, because we do this in other states. We've done things like this in states like Maine, that it's worked out really well. We've got projects over there as well. So when we saw that it was, that the program was going more towards the community engagement, working with school districts and villages, it was like, our eyes got really big, because that's what we've been wanting to do anyways. So it's really, the whole program has been steered more towards community driven projects. And that's one of the categories for the incentives.
Yeah, and
It's actually
so-
literally called community driven.
Yeah, and to be clear, most of the
Yeah.
resources, let's say we want to set up workshops or tours of the facility, we would do most of the heavy lifting. We would reimburse the village or whoever locally is involved for their costs. But it's really, we need them to kind of say, hey, you know what, we'll also be represented at whatever workshops so people can learn more about the environmental benefits, how solar technically works, how everything gets connected together, right? But we would do a lot of the heavy lifting, but we kind of need a local partner to show that it is a very much a partnership with the local community.
Yeah.
Okay, after, say, the project is completed and going, who locally oversees the facility out there?
The maintenance of it?
The maintenance,
Yeah, the maintenance is it's very low maintenance. It's all the production, all the performance is monitored remotely. Just, there's an app for it, right? But we do have folks living in Illinois that are both managers during construction, and they will answer the call if there's some sort of troubleshooting event.
Yeah, and then we also would be in charge of the preventative maintenance for the system. So for example, we come out once a year to do checks on the system, on the modules, the inverters, the key equipment. And then we also do the weed management. So we know that's a big issue here in Illinois, so we're very attuned to that. So among us and our partners, we would take care of that as project owners.
Yeah, we'd actually try to make it somewhat compatible with, you know, like making it pollinator friendly.
Yeah.
You know, that maybe like instead of, you know, using chemicals, weed management, sometimes, you know, you bring in sheep, all right, and just kind of have them graze the area.
It's a big part of what's happening moving forward with the industry, is having things like that happen. So there's also a job force training component that's being developed by the state as a requirement. So there could be opportunities for, you know, the skilled labor folks that want to get into the industry through the community colleges and other job force training. That we're going to have to participate in that as well going forward. So that with the high school, there could be some, you know, some things that we could look at.
So you mentioned it's 800 households when you do the 5 times 160. Is that including the school district being able to take part in this program, or is the school exempt from this? And it's only residential?
Yeah, no.
No, they could-
Yeah, the school district,
It could be
its
anchored.
meters can also.
Yeah, it could
be
be
a
an anchor.
subscriber. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there a distance to it, as in, so Mill and Racine is, you know, a few blocks that way. The high school and the elementary are on the same campus, more or less. Our junior high is 3.5 miles that way. So is that something where there's a restriction on your?
No,
Actually, subscribers can be
anywhere in ComEd,
Yeah, in the utility territory.
in ComEd.
so it's on the ComEd grid.
It's on the
It's on the
ComEd
ComEd
grid.
grid,
The
yeah.
ATM network is the ComEd
Yeah.
grid. But we would give preference to local subscribers within the village, including the school district.
Mike, you got a question? Look at this. So Mike Snow is our maintenance director. So-
Oh,
and
Mike.
He also is a head honcho at the village
Township
council.
supervisor
Oh.
of Washington. So, two questions I'll have
Yeah.
now, but
For now.
after 20 years of leasing the property, what happens?
Well,
Do you take it down, does it go back to what it was? And whose cost is that?
Yeah, so we usually want a 2-year or 2-time extension option for 10 years each. So it could actually go out as much as 40
4
years,
years, yeah.
which is roughly the life of the system, right? As long as we have subscribers for the power. But whether it's year 20 or year 40, we have to post a decommissioning bond.
Right.
So that'll
Okay.
cover any sort of removal and kind of regenerating the site to its
So
prior.
it's farmland now, you're gonna
Yeah.
go back to farmland?
Yes.
when you're done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the great thing is the soil is being recharged during that time, because you're not farming it, so you're not tilling it. So during that 20 to 40 years, there's soil recharge happening. So, you know, it's basically, it's meadow basically, like Bill was saying, so it's just, literally the modules are just sitting there and collecting sun. So, you know, there's no, this major disturbance, other than the posts that are in the ground, so those just stay, you know, in the ground for 20 to 40 years.
But
So
you
you're
know,
not-
to
Yeah.
maximize the TIF benefit.
Yeah,
Is it better that we purchase it? Or can you guys still be the landowner
oh, that's a
to
good
get the
point.
TIF benefit? Because I thought we might have to, because we pay the property tax rate. If you're the owner, you guys are probably property tax exempt.
That's a
Correct,
good
right now.
point.
we're
Correct,
probably
right.
taking that, yeah.
So the
Yeah,
other
we
question
have to-
that I had, so it's ComEd, is you're selling that power back to ComEd as a, not for their infrastructure, but for their distribution, is that right? So I know in the township, we passed a year or two ago, it's aggregation. So it is, comes from Constellation.
Right.
So how does that work?
Yeah, good point.
How does that work?
Basically, you get a double benefit because your Constellation power is probably cheaper, right?
It is, it's cheaper than ComEd.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yet the credit that ComEd gives for this program is just based on their standard offer.
Okay.
Right. So, and it's just a credit on the bill, utility bill. So you calculate how much you're buying from like Constellation, and you're still gonna get that standard per kilowatt hour rate.
Fair rate, yeah.
So you can get a very good rate from Constellation and still get the standard.
Yeah, that was an issue in the first program, and they didn't know how to resolve it, so then they did what Bill said, which is just said, hey, everyone's gonna get this price to compare, which is quite a bit higher, I think, all in, including energy, it's like over
Do
9
you
cents.
guys have a long-term contract?
So you get that as a credit on your bill.
It is a 2-year program, I think.
Oh.
We're right in the middle of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it won't interrupt that. It won't
The
interrupt.
village did not go through the aggregation. I believe
Okay,
they
the village
stayed.
did not, okay.
Yeah, they stayed with ComEd, but the township,
Okay.
which the village is in the township,
Right.
but this is the unincorporated
Right.
areas. We passed that. You can opt out of it
Right.
if you wanted to,
Right.
but you go with the
It's more
aggregation.
bulk, yeah.
Yeah, like, so Bill said, you would just get the higher savings, because you have a lower rate, and you get the higher credit.
Right, okay.
But that price to compare has been creeping up if you're monitoring it.
Yeah.
right? So this is a really good hedge against it to get the savings.
Now, is it, getting into the system, being a subscriber, is that only for the village? Or
village.
is it open to,
It's open, but we would prioritize village residents or small businesses
Yeah, schools.
or municipality
Yeah.
school as priority, and then we'd open it up if it didn't fill up, right? If-
to the township
Yeah.
or?
And then we also have other projects, so we can look at if there was, you know, a township that, because the project was filled up, we would have other projects that we're developing a number of projects. We're building 6 more this year, we built 6 in 2018, and then this would be part of the 2024 regime, you know, projects. And we develop it this year and have it ready for next year. And that's another great thing about community solar, as opposed to the larger sites, you know, that are, you know, 500 or 1,000 people. The turnaround on the development, like Bill said, is usually about a year. And then another 6 to 9 months for construction. So as opposed to 5 to 7 years, all in from, you know, the start, which is here, till when we have the system operational is a year and a half, 2 years at the most. Versus the larger sites, you know, are up to 7 years, 5 to 7 years, somewhere in that range. So it's a much quicker turnaround on the project development to construction and operation. Because they're smaller. So everything's easier to kind of get through the different buckets of approvals.
So you said that if we do decide to do that, you would tie us up on a contingent kind of deal, right? And then you would give us some type of something for
Yes,
that time.
consideration, yeah. Like
What
a
would
good-
that consideration be?
You know, it wouldn't be much, it would be something like, as soon as we sign, $2,000. If the interconnection looks like it's viable, we're pretty much halfway home, right? Then it would go to maybe like 4,000. And then once we get it through development.
Development.
Which we've asked for up to 2 years, but we're really trying to get through it in 1 year. and we get into the program, then we start to look at the full lease arrangement or purchase arrangement.
So one way or another, you wouldn't lease or purchase for a year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah.
You would basically have a hold on it for that
Right,
time.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, that's just to be able to get the project through the diligence and development.
But if there's other farming or other uses,
There
we
won't
don't,
be
we won't be on
interrupting
the
it,
land.
so you're
Oh,
still
okay.
getting, you're still
So
getting.
they'll
all-
still be able to farm
Oh,
while
yeah.
you're doing it for like the first.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
there's
just
no-
gonna maybe
Until
once in a
it's
while
approved.
have surveyors come out, measure things.
Yeah, yeah.
Test the soil.
Yeah, there won't be any, and we'll work around your schedule on farming as well. So, you know, we know that there's certain times where we can't be on the site, so we'll work around your schedule or whoever's leasing the farmland from you. So, so that we're not disturbing the farming operations.
Janet, anything?
No. Like, some of my questions were just answered, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh. No, I mean, and that's before, it's if it even gets approved, and even if the amount they're paying, it's not a lot less than what the farmer's paying to be able to farm it. That was my thing.
Right.
I don't wanna hold it for 2 years and then we're losing what we did have before.
Yeah.
And it's minimal, I mean, it's pretty much paying minimal for the farmer to do it, so if.
Yeah, that would be in addition
Yeah.
to what you're getting. for your-
And the other question we had before you guys came was who's responsible when they're done? That might get asked. That was
Yeah.
a big thing too, so. Those are, I think, the main concerns we had as a board were what happens if it's done? And then how long is it going to take to actually do? Are we gonna be here 7 years and locked into something, but no, short period, so.
The utility scale, the guys who do the bigger, they do lock up the site because they need more time. But because we can turn around these projects a lot quicker, then that timeframe's a lot shorter.
Do you promise to bring some California weather with you?
Maybe sun.
I guess we're good.
Yeah, yeah, so Monday night's a board meeting, so the facilities will present to the rest of the board and have a discussion, and see where we go from there. If there's any other questions, I promise I got both your guys' contact
Okay,
information,
great.
I'll reach out. Appreciate do you mind if I share this
Yeah.
with them?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, because it's on TV anyway.
Yeah, you guys hold us to that.
Well,
All
yeah,
right.
that's, we really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We think it could be a great project,
It's
it's right down the
great, yeah.
road. Right, and it'll be a great landmark for the village and this village.
Can you name it after Mike Stanola? Can you call it the Mike
We'll
Stanola?
do it with
Nature Beavers. Solar
The
solar
Bobcats.
facility.
Bobcat.
Here with Bobcats.
Bobcats, oh,
That's the
sorry.
Beavers.
Bobcat. Nature Bobcat, sorry.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you so very much. Great. Yeah, thanks for coming out, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. All right, the last topic that we need to talk about is the real reason Mike Stanola is here.
Did they present this to the village yet?
No, but they've called the village and basically I shouldn't say anything officially, but they're going to support whatever decision the school decides to do and they'll.
Because they're gonna have to have a public hearing for it, and that's where the roadblocks in.
Right, right, so, but in terms of us engaging with them, the village is aware. Matter of fact, they called the village first, and, so, they're aware of it. So, today, Mr. Stanola, just because he knew it was a facility meeting, decided to give me some wonderful, wonderful news. If you have a high school student, you're aware that those bathrooms over there, at least once a week, are closed down and had to get rotted out. Every week. It costs about $250 a week to get this done. So Mike had the company who did the relining come out from their group out of Crete to actually get a camera done in there. And of course, when cameras are involved and you hear that I told you that it costs us $250 a week to get it rotted out, there's bad things that are going on. So there's about 250 total feet of pipe, 4-inch pipe, all cast iron. Of that, 90 feet goes one direction, it's in slab. And it is scaled probably beyond repair.
Pipes are 56, 57, so.
Yeah. So that's what's happening right now. Anytime somebody basically flushes, you get a week's worth of flushing it, just grabs everything, needs to be run out. So there's 90 feet of that. Just a reminder, last year we did 45 feet of lined pipe. That cost us $17,000. This is 90 feet. This is one pipe. There's a second pipe that goes underneath the old gym and out to the sewer. Of that, 100 feet of that is actually probably, should I say probably, in the,
Probably.
actually in the tunnel or is accessible via the tunnel, that could be easily replaced. Could be replaced. I shouldn't say easily. Could be replaced. But there's another 50 feet of that that's still in the slab of the 250 feet. As you can tell, Mr. Snilla was very scared to come into my office. He really is scared to come into my office, and he was. All of it needs to be, at minimum, cleaned. And by clean, I call it a boring process, basically.
It's like descaled.
Problem with that is when you descale it, there's a high probability that when you pull scales off of something, you're going to create some damages and some repairs are going to be done. So there's no way around it. We have 240 feet of 50 to 60-year-old cast iron pipe that needs to be replaced. Real basic numbers. Again, we have not worked with plumbers yet regarding the actual cost, but basing it on last year's numbers that we got. So remember, 45 feet was $17,000. We're projecting 90 feet of the first pipe. That slab is going to be about $35,000. If we get lucky and can just replace the 100 foot, that's another $8,000 to $9,000 just for the pipe to be put in. And then the other 50 feet is another $20,000. So we're looking at roughly a $63,000 bill coming forward.
Plus the descaling, which is on top of it.
So the descaling is going to cost us about $4,000. And that has to be done because otherwise you're going to have Action Plumbing out here every week rotting out toilets every week. It's now
And
again,
what if the descaling doesn't work?
Well, it'll descale.
it will
It
work.
will.
The problem is it will,
There's probably gonna be damage.
Well, yeah.
Right.
yeah.
So are they
that's what he said.
descaling and then relining?
So the descaling takes all the
Yeah,
rusting out from the inside out, right? So the
Right.
descale takes all that rust off, and when that happens, it's gonna expose
the,
where the rust was,
Right.
cracks and holes that was behind
Yeah.
that flaking rust. That, if it's on the top, yeah, maybe it's okay. It's on the bottom where, then they
Gonna
gotta
leak out.
patch it until we get it relined. Because they leave it open, while, when it's descaled, we got all
gonna-
all kinds of problems then. So we'll patch it at that time, it's discovered.
So yeah, they'll clean it, Band-Aid it until we
Oh.
officially make a movement to fix it.
okay.
And it's something that has to be fixed. There's no way around this. It's
Right.
the same thing that happened last year at the elementary. It has to be done.
And they can get to the portion that's encased in the first,
Well, they get to it.
To reline it?
When they reline it, so you have the pipe, it's like they put a balloon inside the pipe.
okay.
They blow this balloon up, and the balloon has an epoxy coating on the
And it-
outside of it.
Oh,
And
okay.
it sticks to the
Oh.
pipe. Then they deflate the balloon basically, and now all this coating, this liner is left. And it's just as if it was a brand new PVC pipe.
Okay.
And it heals all the cracks, all the voids. It's a pretty slick system, very expensive. So that's what we had to do at the elementary school because the pipe that was cracked was about 7 feet below the slab on the inside of the building. So
No.
it was
No.
not practical to dig.
Yeah.
it.
So is this something why the gyms all tore up can be replaced or no, that doesn't? Because you said under the gym floor and I'm like, well, right now we don't have a gym floor, so.
Right.
Well, and that's the 100 foot that we're thinking is actually within,
You can reach from the tunnel. Maybe.
well, So.
Well, that's fine, I don't
Yeah,
wanna
that's
wait and we get a brand new
100
gym floor. and-
Right,
Yeah,
and then
100.
it,
Yeah, I mean, it's already
Right.
tore up right now, I mean,
But that 90 foot that we talked about from the front office restrooms to the old locker rooms, it's about 90 foot, that is all under the slab.
all right, so that's the old gym.
But that's not, that pipe is not as bad as the pipe from the locker rooms that goes out to the manhole that is in the drive here. That's the worst pipe, and that's where it has consistently had to be unplugged. Now, that doesn't mean, of course, you fix that part there, then everything's gonna happen before it, so. There's two processes, one is the lining I talked about, which is like a balloon, and the second one is just it's more of a coating. Doesn't hold, it doesn't really, it makes the surface slicker, but if there's cracks in it and holes in it, it doesn't repair that, so that's, they have to put the liner in for that. There is possibility that they could do a combination of the two, depending on how the pipe looks after they descale it. But they won't know that to like do the descaling, which is gonna happen on Tuesday. They said they could do it all from the outside. That's what they-
So 75,000 all in?
Well, that is my really rough numbers from the
From
brick
last
shoot we
year.
got last year.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing I said with the roof. For all I know, they can come back and say, well, it's doubled in price, guys. It's now, but yeah, it's gonna be about,
so the second bus they wanted is not looking like it's happening anymore.
that is the other part. I know this isn't transportation, but respectfully,
Yeah,
We can't
that's,
do both.
that's,
We can't do
that's
both.
that
We
second
can't
bus.
it just can't happen. And in my board report, I do mention it. The buses are replacing, but they're just pushing things into being subs. It's not like,
Yeah, they're not a daily driver one.
correct. So it's not like we're putting the kids aren't gonna be in danger, I can assure you that. So all that's gonna happen is you're gonna get one bus that will not become a sub. They'll put these on the road, but one of the current route ones will be put as a sub, and then Jim will just have to make sure the second sub bus is maintained. Again, in an ideal world, it all happens,
Yeah.
and I'd be more than willing to revisit this on April 5th. But this has to happen.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
Like I said, my big thing is if the gym's tore up now, and that's the easier access
Yeah,
to
that's
be
the
able to
old
do
gym.
that.
Well, the problem with that might be is we want to make sure that gets taken care of. If this is still under that slab, they're still gonna have to tear up, it's still gonna cost the same if they
Yeah.
tear it up with the gym being broken up now or
Yeah.
with the gym being pristine. It's still, 5, 6 feet down.
Right.
Under the
Okay.
slab.
It's
So,
solid
yeah,
like the concrete.
yeah, it's not like you can cut through the wood and there it is.
Well, yeah, because these
Yeah.
are getting replaced, so that means they're
Yeah.
not ever getting tore up again for,
But I think
would
they're so, it's so far down.
it doesn't
It's
matter.
very deep, so.
Yeah,
the
so
hole's
they would
not-
have to cut
It's not
it.
gonna be this wide.
Right.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be-
this
It's gonna be
wide, so
massive,
they can
right.
get down
In order to
So
access
Right.
It's a big hole and it's big equipment.
It's good logic, it just.
I know,
yeah.
well, that's fine, before we get too far, because they are like
Yeah.
rushing to do that, and, well, I mean, you don't wanna replace something to have to tear it up in
Right.
6 months.
So what we're gonna do, and it's gonna be less than 5,000 anyway, we're gonna get it cleaned on Tuesday. We are then gonna ask this company to kind of give us after it's clean, give us the idea what the true damage is. They'll give us a bid, and Mike's gonna reach out to a few other sources he has, gets multiple bids, because like I said, it's over $50,000. It's not something we can just say, do it. Then we'll get you guys the best price with the plan of action. So apologize, but like
And
I
this
said.
is, I'm guessing, a summer project?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No.
It's
Is
gotta
it-
be done.
Yeah.
So does.
Well, no, but I mean, like, school can't be, because is it
No,
the,
they, so.
I mean, if it's your
to
septic.
descale it, they're gonna do that outside from the manhole that's over here. They'll go backwards instead of forwards. But when.
They'll close the bathrooms.
They have, well, they won't have
that's
to
what I
close
was
the
wondering,
bathroom.
like, because if there's no,
That's who was on the phone that
Okay.
just
Oh.
rang, I just talked to him, so he said it's all, we jet it out with water, so it's not gonna be a problem if the bathroom's broken. However, if they have to line it, then the bathrooms are closed.
yeah,
Lining.
that was my concern, you said it's 200 and some odd feet, if we don't have bathrooms, we can't have
It-
school, right?
It goes pretty quick though,
It does,
the
okay.
lining process does. If it's just maybe 10-hour day and they're,
Oh, okay.
and they're done. If they descale it and They don't find any cracks in there, which is not gonna happen. We already know there's cracks in there because we can see them on the camera. But they can patch it. Then we have some time to think and get bids to decide how this is gonna get done and when it's gonna get done. If we wait too long, then of course, it's like a Band-Aid, everything around the Band-Aid goes bad, and so eventually it'll have to completely be relined.
I would think best case scenario is spring break. We can get it.
Well, that's what I was trying to think of,
Best,
like,
I
what's
mean-
the timeline here, because
Right.
I don't think
you
summer's
you
an
can't
option.
have people in the building if you don't have working restrooms. I mean,
Right. So I don't think summer's is
Okay.
in reliable expectation. I
So
think-
they'll clean it and scope it at the same time to see what's in there?
Correct, yeah, they run the power jetter in there, and then they vacuum out all the scale, and I run a camera in there so they can.
So they can see exactly what's
There's,
there.
it's Reed and Peterson, right, the company that I
Yep.
called out of Crete. They're very, very reputable company. They do relining, the Art Institute downtown, many schools and colleges. They know exactly what they're doing. They're very good at it. I will try to get other prices. These guys are the top of the totem pole as far as that goes, so I will get other prices. They know what they're doing, and they document everything with their cameras and audio, so they're very good at what they do.
And I regret saying this now, talk on it. We have not had any problems with the things that we replaced at the elementary school this year. So,
yeah.
Right.
thank you.
And that used to back up not every week like this does, but every month it would back up.
Okay.
I'm all for good news. I'll find a positive spin to this. I haven't figured it out yet, but I've only had a few hours to think on it.
Well, the pipe, if they reline it, it'll last for another 50, 70 years.
This is Mike's the new one, I tell you what, he's a new man. So those are that's under the other category. Other than that, if you have not seen, please make sure you stop by the cafeteria, look at the new floor, it's phenomenal. Give you an update, they are 3/4 of the way taken off the top layer on the small gym. That's supposed to be done by Friday. The removal of the floor, they started in on the den. They have the first 2 layers of plywood laid, and I believe they started on the maple today. If not today,
No,
they'll-
tomorrow.
first thing in the
Start
morning.
tomorrow, yeah.
So the maple's the actual flooring itself, so they're already that far along in that process. So cafeteria's done, kitchen's done, bathrooms are done. They did the sign swing tile this weekend, and they're gonna put in the athletic wing tile
This week.
this weekend.
Yeah.
So we're moving forward again. We had a little bit of hiatus there, but now we're moving forward again. We're still on a schedule that we're happy to be. So I've talked to Mr. Dubois. I said best case scenario, plan everything to start at the end of March. So which is well ahead of what.
Okay, so I talked to the wood, he said that he's looking at both gyms.
Hey, easy now. You're on camera.
Oh.
What is he? What
By
is
the end
his
of March,
goal?
He says by the mid to end of March, he should have both gyms painted, sealed, done.
See?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And
So-
spring break's right at the beginning of April, so that's kind of nice. It's got time to.
Yeah. So
That's nice.
definitely graduation will happen at the den. Definitely will happen. And that was one of my concerns when it all happened on Christmas. Will it be able to get done? So there's your positive thing.
There you
right
go.
Any initial comments on the solar?
It's better than what we're doing with it now, if they can get it. And we get a 25% discount, and they're paying us 50 grand a year for it.
Did you also notice the price that they quoted you for buying it versus
Yeah.
what we were quoted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. What was 690?
No,
I think it said like,
No.
350
here?
is
Yeah.
what
He did
was-
650.
Yeah,
But if
it's-
they're paying us $50,000 a year,
That's
we'll
$1
make
million
that in
in
like,
20 years.
It's a-
yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
Yeah, you
So
might as well
it's a
keep it, because then if they do another
$300,000
40 years, that's, I mean, another 20 for 40, that's 2.
And like he
I'm
says,
sure you'll give us copies of the
Of the presentation.
PDFs. Of course. Okay. Okay, anything else?
Look at Larry talking about PDFs and traffic.
You should know that. lot of new tricks.
So on Mondays, it's, again, not really, related to the thing, on Monday you'll see an approval for, I've already talked to Kelly, she's aware. All right,
Anything else? Okay, seeing no one in the audience, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? Yep.
Mike, you're not a no one. I saw you in the audience. Thanks for coming.
All in favor? Aye, we are adjourned.
You really look like a whipped puppy coming in now.